Coming up on this episode of Bro, Do You Even Talk Pinball, we're going to go over news and updates, information about the Stearns Beatles, Monster Bash, and other news from Pinball Expo.
We're going to talk about our Pirates of the Caribbean from Jersey Jack Pinball, and we're going to bring in designer Eric Meunier to talk and answer all your questions.
All that and more coming right up.
Double super jackpot!
I need a ramp. I need a loop. I want targets I can hit. I need the scoop. I need a double super jackpot in my life. That's right. Ladies and gentlemen, Lord knows your lives aren't classy. Why not class it up with your hosts of the Bro Show, Lord Nick Lane and Sir Kevin Manny of Buffalo Pinball.
What's going on, everybody? What's up, pinball players?
What is up? It's been a while.
Happy podcast. It's Monday, October 25th. We missed the September's podcast. I think it's the first time you've missed a month.
It is.
Since we started in, February 2016?
Yeah, but we had good reason. You were like jet-setting all over the world, right?
I was. I'm exhausted. It's month has flown by like October hasn't existed. I was just in Toronto earlier this week for a work conference, but I was in England and Ireland towards the end of September, early October. So that sort of knocked out our ability to do a podcast because we usually do it at the end of the month.
Yep. And, we had a pretty big one before we left.
Yeah.
Probably our biggest episode ever.
That's fine. We
got
can
lots of feedback.
We'll take a month off. So yeah, we got some good feedback. If you guys listen to that, thanks for all the positive support and feedback from that. But yeah, back in action. Probably a little rusty, but happy to be back in the saddle. It's hoodie weather, as we like to announce.
Exactly.
In Buffalo, I think in every year we've done this podcast is official. So
it's also destroying pinball weather. So
it's VR weather too. So it's good. I love this time of year. It's great.
That's right.
All right.
Why don't we dig into it?
Well, we got a dedication.
Yeah, we do.
So some really sad news. We lost a member of the pinball community last month. Learned of the passing of David Taylor. David was a supporter, viewer of the show. Well known, I think, in the pinball community.
Yeah.
A competitive player. He came out to the Buffalo Pinball Summer Open the last couple of years, and Kevin and I spent a good deal of time talking to him. So extremely sad to hear his passing. So we just want to dedicate this podcast, this stream to him.
Yeah.
In his memory. So
it was it's crazy because we were just hanging out with him at the Summer Open in August, and just a couple weeks later it was like, what is happening, man?
Yeah. He got I guess he ended up with finding out he had, I believe, stomach cancer.
Yeah.
He wasn't sick at the time. I mean, he didn't know he was sick at the time, and then a few weeks later he passed away. So
yep.
Very sad, and condolences to his family.
So this episode's for you, David.
All right.
Let's bring it up from there, and we'll thank our partners for helping make this possible. So, all right, Comet Pinball, CometPinball.com. They make awesome LEDs for your pinball machine and lighting features that you can light up your game. Double Danger, DDPinball.com. Save 15% with coupon code Buffalo on your pinball shirts, hats, swag, all that fun stuff. Pinball Life. If you get pinball machines, they're going to break. You're going to need some parts. Go to PinballLife.com. Jersey Jack Pinball. Couldn't do today's episode without them. JerseyJackPinball.com. Grab a Pirates, a Dialed In, a Hobbit, or a Wizard of Oz from them. Titan Pinball, TitanPinball.com. Use coupon code Buffalo to save 10% on silicone rings for your pinball machine. Replace those old rubber rings with awesome new silicone rings. Community Beer Works. I'll let you do this one.
Delicious beers. Best beers in Buffalo. Love Community Beer Works. They got a new facility. They're starting to really bottle their beer now. They used to be a nano brewery. No longer the case. And they've got pinball machines down there that we supply, so check them out.
Awesome. Pin Stadium, pinstadium.com. Use coupon code Buffalo to save 10% on lighting kits for your pinball machine and the new Orion's Belt flasher kits. Pinball Arcade, pinballarcade.com. Virtual recreations of real pinball machines. Right on cue, they're rating us. Hello, everybody from Farsight Studios. They make awesome recreations of real pinball machines for your
Faithful
phone.
to the game.
Yes.
We'll talk about that later.
Yeah, we will. Originally faithful. And, of course, last but not least, TiltCycle. TiltCycle.com. get some upcycle pinball art from artist Dan Burfield. He's amazing. Old pinball playfields, pop bumper caps into night lights, anything you can think of. Custom work.
Yeah.
Use coupon code Buffalo to save 10% on his store. So
all right. Let's dig into it. News and updates. First on the docket, revealed on, was it Monday or Tuesday? Revealed Tuesday, I believe.
Quote unquote revealed.
Oh, why the quotes?
Because the video,
like
Stern didn't actually announce it.
What?
Somebody found it on the Beatles website.
Oh,
There's
really?
still nothing on the Stern Facebook page or anything.
Oh, that's hilarious.
So,
okay.
And this video is actually unlisted, but it's the Beatles, and long rumored, and true to the rumor is styled after the Sea Witch, the classic Stern pinball machine Sea Witch. Let's take a look at some photos.
People like Sea Witch.
Yep.
They like that layout.
Yep.
It's a fun game.
And it's very teal and lime green.
Yellow, teal. Yeah.
There's been a lot. It's Sea Witch, but it's got some differentiators, like it's got a spinning record in the middle with a magnet in the middle of the record. It's got
a magnet up top too, right? Where it normally goes around.
Right there. You can see that in the photo.
Mm-hmm.
There's a couple things like behind the drop targets that weren't there on Sea Witch. There's a super jackpot shot. I don't think I have that. No, I don't have that. But there's a couple spinners. Pricing has not been announced yet, but the kind of the feedback has not been super positive on this.
Not been good.
Yeah.
And people have been wanting Stern to do sort of a classic Stern game, right, from the early solid state era, and obviously Sea Witch is a desirable game, so it's not the layout per se. I think it's just looking at the video that they released. It was like really slow gameplay. There was no excitement behind it. I think that was the big negative. There's no wow. There's no like, oh man, that looks great. I don't know if it's just a really bad video that was shot of it, because I mean that's all we can base our opinion on, right? The video.
Mm-hmm. We've seen like a 30-second video. Yeah.
You know, the artwork's nothing great. It's like Beatles early in their career. Mm-hmm. I'm not a Beatles fan. Kevin, you're not either.
Nah.
I respect the band, but
Absolutely.
They're just not music. I've never put the Beatles on. I don't know, right? So that being said, just looking at comments online, people aren't necessarily stoked about this game.
And I think if the rumors end up being true about pricing, because they're making 1964 total machines, 100 of them are diamond editions, and then I think 500 are gold, and then the rest, or 500 are platinum, and then the rest are gold. And rumors like the diamond editions are just going to be ridiculously high priced.
Yeah, I mean this is a Kapow game, right? Just like Batman 66, whatever. Batman 66 was a Kapow game. So these are maybe really designed for collectors, right? That's their target audience. Mm-hmm. And you know that there's plenty of Beatles fans that aren't necessarily pinball fans, but they'll collect anything Beatles. So, from a financial standpoint, I'm sure Stern will crush it.
Yeah.
From a pinball player standpoint, maybe even from a pinball player who likes the Beatles, wouldn't be surprised if they're disappointed by it.
Yeah.
Because even though you want like a classic Stern, if they made my favorite band, okay, let's say they did that, which is Men Without Hats.
There you go.
I'm just joking, but they are awesome. But let's say they made your favorite band. You're gonna want probably a modern machine with all the toys and the ramps and what you expect that presentation, right? Chances are you're gonna want that, even though you want Stern to do a classic game. Maybe you don't want your theme, or maybe you want original theme, or maybe you want Sea Witch reproduce something like that. So I can understand why people are disappointed. You sort of know how it's gonna play, right? Because you've played Sea Witch before.
It'll be interesting to play like a Sea Witch with modes and stuff, though, or like some with it's got a multi-ball in it, and Sea Witch didn't have a multi-ball, so there's some additions. It's not amazing. I guess I won't harsh on it too bad until we know the price. But if this was a $5,000 modern Sea Witch, I think people would be cool with it. But if you don't love the Beatles,
$5,000 moderns, I don't know.
With TNA though selling for $6,000,
sure, these crazy times, Kevin. All right, but yeah, so I don't know. We'll see.
That's about all we know about it.
We get to
right
play. Yeah, it's that warrants about as much discussion as you can have on a game that you've never played.
Exactly. So it's out there. It's what people expected. Stay tuned for more news on that. But next, let's get into Chicago Gaming Expo. Officially announced the thing that everybody knew was coming next. It was Monster Bash, and they had I think they had some playable ones there. And what do you think about a new Monster Bash?
Well, it's not something I'm interested in purchasing. Like I like Monster Bash. I think it's actually a great game for beginners. I think as more experienced players, it's pretty easy,
Yeah.
I lose interest in easy games, but I mean it's an amazing game, especially for its time. And I was most impressed with the fact that you can get it for $6,000.
That's amazing.
That is fucking amazing.
If
That's
anything, I thought this was going to be more expensive than Attack from Mars, but it was $500 less.
Absolutely amazing. Good on them. You were just talking about a $5,000 Sea Witch and kind of rolling my eyes at prices going up, but look what they did. That's really cool. Now there's other editions you can get that step up, but you can get the base game, a Monster Bash, which used prices have been what, $10,000 or something ridiculous, right? You can get that version brand new in box for $6,000. Good on them.
Which is awesome.
That's very positive.
The thing, so this one, the as we've kind of come to expect with the Chicago Gaming remakes, there's some upgrades to the LE and collector's editions or whatever they call them. But they actually added some things on the playfield, which I don't think they've really done before. So there's RGB, GI, and LEDs now. So depending on the mode you're in, it changes colors.
Oh, cool.
To coordinate with that. So that's a nice upgrade. It's also got like this plasma disc in the back. So we haven't seen new playfield features on these classic games before when they re-release them. So it's interesting to see them taking some liberties and expanding on things a little bit more than they have beyond the. I think they do an amazing job with the remastered display with the new graphics and everything.
Yeah,
they don't just take the existing dots and blow them up. They actually redraw them.
That's cool.
They do a really good job with that.
Agree.
So these games are great, and if you're looking for one of these, then why not? But again, for me, I've played these games a lot, so I don't necessarily see the need to buy a brand new one. I've just kind of played the games, and it's like if I'm going to drop $6,000 on a machine, I'd rather get something I don't have a bunch of hours into and that I've played a lot. But
yeah, Crazy News says it's a great gateway table. I agree. I think it's a great game for people who are new to pinball. And it's not like, look, you can be playing pinball for 20 years and still love it and appreciate it. I'm not saying that that's not possible. Mm-hmm. Me personally, it's not of interest. Even Martha, who used to love that game, is not interested in it. So I think she's just come along a little bit in her pinball.
If anything, it's great that it's just like pushing prices down a little bit when everything
super cool.
Is good on going
them.
Up.
They're going to be very competitive. They're going to sell a lot of games at that price.
Great games at a great price.
We'll probably buy it for the business.
There you go.
I'm probably going to get one for the business. So
I'm excited.
Yeah.
No, I'm excited. I'd love to go play it on location.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people will. So
awesome.
Very cool. Good news.
All right. Next, another big announcement at Expo was American Pinball's Oktoberfest. Another one that has been rumored for a long time, but we haven't seen it. Now we've seen it. And yeah. What do you think?
I don't know. What did you tell me? You texted me. It looks like a Zachariah. Like when you kind of look at the.
Somebody said that. Yeah.
Somebody said that. Yeah. It does have that kind of. I mean, again, Kevin and I are looking at pictures.
Yeah,
right?
we haven't played it.
I don't think I really even saw any video.
No,
so,
I watched the straight down the middle video, but that was more of an interview about it.
Yeah, so I haven't spent much time delving into this game other than some pictures, right?
Yeah.
I don't know. This is definitely one of those games that I'm gonna have to play it for sure before I even give anything remotely of an opinion.
Right. Oh, that's Lexi. I don't see her yet. Yeah, this game is not going to sell me on the theme. It's not selling me on the artwork. From what I understand, the music and the animations are not amazing yet. It's still very early code.
Yeah.
I listened to the interview on Head to Head. I think they talked to him. One of the podcasts. They did an interview about this game, and it's only like 30% code right now, so it's got a long way to go. But yeah, this is one of those games I'm going to have to play it, and if it's amazing, great. The shots don't look as tight as Houdini. The art is about on par with what Houdini offered, I think. Well, just in a more colorful manner.
Yeah, the screen looks terrible again. Like Houdini's graphics on the screen were just absolutely terrible, considering what they're competing against, right? I mean, I think Stern does a good job, and JJP blows it out of the water in terms of like the LCD screens.
Oh, yeah. Oh.
So they make Houdini look like a joke.
Yeah.
And I don't know if they've upgraded for this. I've heard that they're pretty bad.
Yeah.
So that's something that they should invest in. The nice thing is, I mean, it can change, right? After the game's out, you can do that with code.
Yep.
So we'll see.
There's a weird mix of art all over the playfield. So and on the game, there's like photo realistic people, and there's cartoon people, and I don't know. And then there's like these characters on the pop bumpers.
It's like Gottlieb and Zachariah. They had like a baby, and this is what they came up with.
There you go. That's if you're envisioning this in your mind's eye, if you're driving in your car listening to the podcast and you haven't seen the pictures, which I'm sure you probably have by now, but that's a good description.
Speaking of photorealism and remakes, we need a Bad Girls remake.
Yeah, we do.
That game would sell like hotcakes. Put some RGB lighting in there.
There you go.
Yeah. I'm just saying. There you go.
We could get some new...
There's an idea. You can have it for free, internet.
We could get some new models to stand in for the back glass. Or would you want to just like totally...
I want original.
Original? You don't want like remastered artwork or anything?
No, the artwork's perfect. They nailed it.
Okay. Fair enough. What about Genesis?
Not as much as Bad Girls.
No. Genesis is pretty amazing.
It's pretty good. It's pretty good. All right, let's move on.
Multimorphic announced some new stuff. They didn't go to Expo. They went to I think it was a Houston show, which makes sense because they're down there. But let me pull up the photos here. And they announced new art for Lexy Lightspeed, Escape from Earth.
Ooh, I like that.
Way better. So I've
Yeah.
got Lexy over there still.
That's cool.
So the cool thing about the P3 stuff is you can just swap all the art. It's magnetic. There's the full cabinet, so
I like it.
You can slap the new magnets on the side. If you're on location, you can get protectors so hooligans don't steal your artwork. But the other thing they announced was that they're going to do a backbox LCD screen. So I think that's kind of the way to go with this because you're always going to be switching games. And so the back glass will then match whatever game you're playing.
Yeah. And that's one negative of that game is like you can't, if you're watching, you can't see what's going on, and it is cool to be able to watch the screen.
Yeah, so there's a mock-up of Cosmic Kart Racing.
Yeah, nice.
Showing the status of the race on the back glass, which is cool.
That's cool.
Yeah,
that's a good idea.
Yep. So they did Cosmic Kart Racing new art too, so that looks way better too.
Cool.
So I'm glad to see that happening. So yeah, good job on P3. They're announcing new code and stuff for a lot of their games. They just came out with a lot of those. Are regular updates to all their games too. So
I think the next one's for Gameroom updates, right?
Well, we got. We're gonna talk. We can talk about Zen Studios first.
Okay, let's do that.
All right.
Why don't you kick it out? Go ahead.
So
you tackle this one.
All right. Zen Studios now has the license to Williams games to recreate them digitally, and they've come out with their first batch of them. Medieval Madness, Fishtails, Junkyard, and High Speed 2: The Getaway. And there's some controversy because folks noticed that the art in some of the games had been changed, and some of the DMD animations and things like that to censor it to make it fit into a lower rating, so like an E10 rating versus a teen rating, so it doesn't limit their audience as much, I guess.
Whatever. I mean, like they took like the guy in Fishtails, I guess, has a pipe, right? Like on the back glass, they took the pipe out. Or there's like a gambling game on what is it? Champion. What is that game?
Champion Pub.
Is it Champion? Oh, God, I'm mixing around. So there's like a gambling mode that they just took completely out of the game. Like it's like, come on, man. Like just make it teen or whatever you got to make it. Like, but I think a lot of people are, well, they call it a small vocal minority. This is Zen's words, but they're saying that a small quote unquote vocal minority is upset. But I think what Pinball Arcade was doing, and what they always hyped it up, is that they were recreating and preserving these games digitally, and you got to appreciate that. I mean, this is what they were at the time. This is the art. And what's crazy is like you watch TV or you just watch the news or you go out on the street. I mean, like you'll see things that are 10 times worse. This is so tame that they're changing that it's too bad that they're making edits to it. But I fall in the category that it's I don't like the censoring.
So Kiefer in chat says the censored stuff is in the ROM. It's the adult setting. So they're turning on the like family mode, but then they're also changing actual art on
they're
the
actually
machines
changing
and
the
stuff.
art.
So
yeah.
it's beyond the game code content.
It's not just that. Like, yeah.
So that's a good point to bring up. I'm kind of in the the camp of who cares. But if it, like, I don't care if the guy on the back glass has a pipe or if he doesn't. You know what I mean? That doesn't impact the game. But if it comes to something like Champion Pub, where they take out a whole mode, or they just don't recreate it because it has content in it that's not going to fit with their ESRB rating, then that's more of an issue to me. But on the other hand, Pinball Arcade was able to release these tables, and I don't know what their rating was, but I don't remember this being an issue with them at all. So,
well, Zen was saying that like they shouldn't have gone away with it, or it flew below the radar, or they did like something, you know, quote unquote, like wrong. Or sneaky.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
He was like, the guy who was responding was really going on the offensive. Like,
yeah.
He could use some Kevin Manny PR work, honestly.
I'm available for consultation.
Yeah.
We could get some contract work.
But I wasn't going to get it anyways. But
yeah,
you know, I don't know. It's silly.
Yeah. So I don't know. It's just one of those weird things. It's like, Zen got the tables and everybody was all excited. They're like, oh, it's good. They're going to be the saviors of digital pinball. And then it's like, oh, they screwed it up.
out of the gate. But who knows?
Maybe they can make it right. They're talking about maybe doing a second version of...
For adults where they have like, a fisherman with a pipe.
That's right.
Oh, my God. Risque.
Williams Pinball After Dark. Guy with a pipe and... playing poker, I guess.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Oh, those offensive 90s pinball machines.
No World Poker Tour in that game, in that system, I guess. Huh?
What about Bad Girls? That's not going to go.
Pool, that you could wager at pool, right?
It will just be the guy in the background with the pool stick. All the ladies will be removed.
It'll just be girls. They won't be bad anymore.
Yeah.
All right, let's talk game room updates, and then we'll talk about the fall brawl and give a little plug for that. So,
go ahead, Kev.
We've had some changes in our game rooms over the past...
You more than me, but...
Well, I don't know.
Well...
Content-wise, I have.
I had you had better
physical
changes.
moving, yeah.
I had disruption.
So, just over a week ago, I sold my Ghostbusters. I've been kind of back and forth on it for a long time. I do like that game. I'm not one of these people who are like, that game... Like, people hate that game.
I don't hate it. I just don't like it.
But there are people that hate it.
I don't blame them.
But I enjoy the game. But I just kind of, like... reached a point with it. I'm like, all right, I'm good. Got sick of waiting for the code updates. It's like they'll be available if the code makes it amazing. If there's this amazing like Walking Dead transformation of the game, which I doubt.
I doubt it.
Then it's not like you can't buy another one down the line. But I decided it was time to mix it up a little bit, so I got rid of Ghostbusters, and then the next day I went out and I got myself a Hobbit.
Good move.
Because I am
upgrade.
Unabashedly Jersey Jack fanboy.
Yeah,
I'm all in. I just got to get a Wizard of Oz. That's what everybody says now. So I got Pirates dialed in, and
cool.
and the Hobbit. Love that game. The new code is making it even better. This one plays really great, actually quite fast compared to some of the other ones I've played. It's got all the fixes on it. It was like the perfect situation. Somebody bought it new, fixed all the little things that needed to be fixed. The code's been updated. It's got Cliffy protectors on it. It's really great. Love it. Got to Battle of the Five Armies on stream the first time I streamed it. It's definitely my favorite game to stream because you just like you get lost in the game. And
you do. I noticed that.
Like, the time just disappears, and you have these amazing.
You totally get lost in the game.
Yeah. So it's not a game where it's like I'm gonna hit the start button over and over again. Especially after you have a long game like that, you're kind of good. But until you get to that point, it keeps you going. So there's that. I think that was about it. That was huge, but I don't think there were any other major game room updates. So what's been going on in your?
Well, I got my Pirates as well.
Yep.
So that was fun. So here's the thing. I might have mentioned this before. Moving I had some pinball machines upstairs, and they're all going in the basement. So I'm gonna have like 13 games in the basement. That's gonna max out as many games as I can. You were helping me kind of move like my machines into a cove. I got. But the painful part here is like I wanted to be very careful because I had to move dialed in downstairs. I didn't want to scratch it up, and it's heavy, super heavy.
Oh yeah.
So we took the head off. Kevin held me, moved the head on that. Then I had to have somebody else come over who's got an Escalera. So this is like I can't do it myself, and not only that, but multiple people are involved. So dialed in is downstairs. We got the head back on. I got to fix the theater because the opto's wonky on it, but that's gonna be set. So I got Pirates, and I set it up in that upstairs room for a while so I can play it. So I played it for about a week because it would be tortured to have that in the house and take the head off and not even play it. Play it for about a week, and then Kev came over on Saturday. The head is off. but so it has to get in the basement, and then the head has to come back on, and all that, and it becomes going to help me Mylar the chapter start area because I have OCD, and I think it's going to get scratched up, and it ruins
We're going to ask
everything
Eric
for me.
about that.
He's going to say no. Keith already said I'm crazy, which
Well, I need to confirm
agree.
it with the designer.
All right, can we ask him about that? Okay, we're going to talk about Mylar. This is I can jump in.
Oh, yeah.
That's the hard hitting questions. But yeah, I'm getting close. I feel like the house is a mess. Basement is a mess right now with stuff. Like it's kind of like psychologically like I'm overwhelmed. But hopefully in the next week or so that's done. That room's going to be a VR room. So just VR. I got a monster PC, as we like to call it.
Yep.
Monster PC
Monster
is
PC.
going to be set up for my VR rig. Now I'll have 2 VR stations because I got my laptop. So you can come over and
Then
play.
you'll have your
VR.
portable one that you can take in the car too, right?
Got that. Go to sleep with the VR in my head. Getting there, man. And then I just noticed that what was it, Red Dead Redemption or whatever?
Yep, that's coming
2's coming out tomorrow, and people are saying like it's the best video game ever made. So I've got a lot of
Say goodbye to Nick Lane.
I've got a lot on my
ladies and
plate. I've got a lot on my plate. I don't know. I'm like, what toy do I play first? So things are good.
gentlemen. Kiefer says, "You dog, I heard you like VR."
You might have heard that. Have I mentioned that?
I've heard it on a few episodes.
Couple times. I like putting a helmet on my head.
He does. He likes disconnecting from this world and actual human interaction and going into
Sometimes
world.
more than others too, depending on what's going on in the pinball community.
fair enough. Like 2 months ago was a perfect VR time.
Yeah.
Boom. All right. So let's give a plug for Fall Brawl. Speaking of pinball tournaments.
Oh, I want to give by the way, shout out. This is sort of updates on what happened last month. So when I went to England, I found out there was a couple pinball tournaments, and I reached out to Neil McRae, and I couldn't make the first one because I would have literally gotten off the plane and had to go to it, and Martha didn't like that idea. Really weird.
Yeah.
There's a tournament in
Oh
London.
yeah, I forgot about this.
But she didn't like the idea of me going and playing in a pinball tournament. But after about a day walking around London, I'm like, listen, I'm good. I don't need to walk around anymore. I'm going to go to the pinball tournament. So Neil picked me up. It was like a league in Paul Rubin's house. Paul Rubin was Pavlov Pinball when he had that blog set up. Super nice guys, super nice group. So I had a great time out there. Somebody was like, they're like, oh, listen to the podcast. They're like, you're really chill. I was like, first of all, I am like, I was really happy to be there, and like I didn't have to run the tournament. I didn't feel any pressure to like, do well. Like if I don't do well in tournaments, everyone's like, oh, what's wrong? Like here. So I just went and I had a good time. It was super fun. So thank you guys for that. You guys got a good crew out on Fun Ball.
Yeah. Somebody from Buffalo magically appeared at your tournament.
That's right. I messed up because that was like their league. It was like, I think 1 of 3 sessions. So I should have just flown back like in 2 weeks later and just showed up.
Playing the next session.
Finish it out. Yeah.
I'm just here for all of them. All right. Tournament plug time. We got the Fall Brawl coming up here in Buffalo. If you're going to be in the area, November 10th, highly encourage you to pre-register for this. It's our quarterly, annual, whatever you want to call it.
Quarterly. Yeah, we do. We
tournament.
tried to do quarterly tournaments at Game On because it's our kind of like home court, right?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
So this is going to be a bigger tournament. Whoppers, 4.5 hours.
Yep. Match play pinball tournament. $15 for A division. That's if you're in the top 5,000 in the IFPA. Ranking, not rating. Somebody on Twitter asked if it was ranking or rating. It's ranking. And the cost for B division, everybody else, is $10. You can register at buffalopinball.com and get all the info on the tournament format and all that good stuff. I mentioned this on one of our streams, and somebody was like, I thought you weren't doing tournaments anymore. I was
What?
like,
No.
Well,
Not world-class tournaments where we have 130, 40 people come out and it's 3 days long.
And it's a year of planning, yeah.
I do a tournament every month out at Game On.
We have like 3 leagues.
We have 3 leagues.
Monthly
we have
tournaments.
4 leagues now? I don't
Yeah,
even know.
I don't know.
We have like 3 ladies leagues now.
So many leagues.
There's a lot going on. We got a lot on our plate.
Yeah. So this is like, it's okay to back off of this. So,
Yeah.
All right. We have Hogbogged in the chat room. He's going to magically appear from the chat room into Skype and onto our stream here as soon as he gives us a call. So
Okay, so we want to
here
talk
he
about
goes.
our impressions or have Eric?
no, he's coming in right now.
All right, so we can't tell him the game sucks.
No, we can't. There he is. All right, let me switch this over. And if everything works as planned, boom, there he is. So hello
magic.
to Eric Meunier, designer of Jersey Jack's Pirates of the Caribbean, joining us here on the stream. Welcome aboard, Eric.
Howdy, everyone.
That's Eric's. I recognize the backdrop that where Eric is. That's his tech support room where he helped me do some tech support on my Pirates. So
It is, yes. This is my couch. My living room.
So just put the kids to bed and immediately ran to jump on Skype and hang out with us. Really appreciate spending some time with us. So we have a lot of questions, a lot of stuff we want to dive into. So why don't we just get right to it? So the first question we want to ask is, did you remove the triple spinning disc and the opening and closing trunk because you hate everybody? Yes or no?
Yes, absolutely. I mean, I just wanted to live in a world where people thought I was an asshole for like 8 months. So, yeah.
welcome. You can join us.
Mission accomplished.
Yep. No, I mean, we did it for the right reasons, right? The prototype mechs weren't working well, and didn't want to jeopardize a $10,000 game on putting a mech in there that might not last. So pulled it out and made the right decision. The game plays well. The spinning disc affects the ball more now than it did in the prototype games. And some of the stuff I saw in prototype games, people were confused when the balls disappeared in the treasure chest lock. Not being able to see your locked balls was confusing to some people. I mean, for us, pinball players who know games and watch games, and, even in a 4-player game, I know exactly what balls I have locked and where I am in progress on any game that I play. For normal people, I guess it's confusing when you don't see everything. So, yeah.
Awesome. So let's take it back. So before you began designing pinball machines, who were your favorite designers, and what was kind of your inspiration to get into doing this?
So let's see. My inspiration for doing this, I got into pinball when I was, 2003, I think, is when Lord of the Rings came out. My father owned an operation business, so we were pinball operators, arcade game operators, for since 1991. He started Kingpin Games when I was 2 years old. And since the age of 7, I'd been working on arcade games, more than just like fixing coin jams, like soldering boards and fixing electronics and going through games and stuff like that. So after high school, so I worked, you'd call it like full time, every night and weekend and summer. Since the age of 12, I worked for my dad in the family business, and then went to college for a degree in electrical engineering and a master's degree in mechanical engineering, and wanted nothing to do with the game business. And then I met Jack at Midwest Gaming Classic, and we hit it off, I would say. And he was starting a new company and wanted some people to come on board. So I gave him my resume, and he told me I was overqualified for the position he was bringing me in for, but maybe something else would open up in the future. So, yeah, I came in as the electrical engineer right when Wizard of Oz was starting to get off the ground.
Oop. Internet issues. We might have to reconnect with Eric here. Please stand by. Technical difficulties. Let's see if we can turn off the video. Let's call him back. The joys of Wi-Fi and live broadcasting.
Hi, guys. Sorry about that.
There he is. That's all right. Little Wi-Fi hiccup, probably.
Yeah, I reconnected on my phone, so we'll see. My computer is like completely locked.
That's jeez. Awesome. It's okay. It's bonus content for people watching live.
Okay, great. There we go. Skype just crashed on my computer. So I don't know. I got cut off somewhere in the middle, I assume.
Can you send us video or no?
Let's see.
Yep, there we go.
Yep, there we go.
There we go. He's back.
I'm back.
All right, so you were telling us about your story of, you went to Jersey Jack. He kind of sold you on becoming a member of the team, and where'd you go from there?
Right. So I joined in as the electrical engineer. Started when Wizard of Oz was about to hit the line, and realized we had some lighting board issues. That was fun. Redesigned the electronic system for Hobbit, and further refined it for Dialed In, and then got a chance to become a game designer for game number 4.
So what was that like, undertaking a first pinball design? What was it overwhelming? Did you look to past games you had played for inspiration? Like where do you start with a blank slate, right?
Yeah, with a blank slate, there's a lot of playfield there. I mean, there's a lot of stuff to put onto a game. So the way I started, I looked at the different content that I was able to use. So I was able to use all 5 movies. I went through it and found things that I thought were interesting, and I tried to put as much technical features in the game as possible, because I like a pinball machine that interacts with the ball in new and unique ways. I wanted to have fun toys that interact with the ball, and so I put those in first and then designed the shots around them. So the rocking ship up the playfield, the spinning map, the whirlpool maelstrom shot, and then the cannon were coming in and the fired upon ship and things like that. So designing shots around those, after you get the toys and their relative size and their complexity and things like that, and making the game fun to shoot. So
let's kind of fast forward to today. Now you've taken the game from design and development and prototyping, and it's actually on the line and shipping to people like me and Nick. We have them in our game room. So what's that experience been like, going from design to production? And you actually went to the Jersey Jack factory to kind of oversee the first games being built, right?
Correct. Yeah. It's very important to be hands-on, because I've been living, breathing this machine for the past 2 years now. When the people on the assembly line see it, they're seeing it really for the first time, and how things go together. So things that are super obvious to me, as far as this switch needs to be adjusted just so, and this mech is supposed to work this way, and the ball is supposed to feed from there this way. So if it doesn't, you need to tweak the flipper or something like that. Walking them down the line and helping build the first game and go through how the game should play with them was really important, really helpful. Nice.
So what improvements were made over the prototype? So there, the prototypes made a lot of rounds. A lot of people played them at shows. What changes did you make besides like the trunk and the spinning disc? There were other small improvements you made to the game too, right?
Yes, there were lots of improvements behind the scenes that a lot of people didn't realize. The shooter groove was a big one. So there was a transition into the shooter ramp that I wound up changing the shooter groove completely and pulling steel wire all the way back to the auto launcher, and it made the ball launch really cleanly out of there now. And also made the little bump area more fun to play when the ball's ejecting, or when the ball's draining and you try to nudge it back in. There was so much chatter in the shooter lane in the prototypes that it was hard to keep that area the way I wanted it to. But when I changed the shooter lane, now it works the way it should. Other improvements, like behind the Black Pearl playfield, stuff that most people will never see. The Black Pearl playfield is different was in the prototypes. And I just got a message that my phone is going to die soon.
I thought you were cursing. Which I know we don't have that feature on our end.
Yeah.
No, weird. I'm going to have to...
Got to plug in.
Plug in, so I'm going to turn you guys down for a second.
Okay.
I'm going to creep upstairs with babies. So shh.
Quiet, everybody. Creeping through Eric's house together on the internet.
You are now in the game designer's bedroom.
We're in his bedroom, ladies and gentlemen. That's the gold from the pinball machine.
Okay. Mission successful.
All right. Yes.
Oh, no awake babies.
All right. That's super important.
Yes. So I have 2 kids. They are 3.5 and almost 1. My other son turns 1 week from tomorrow.
So sleeping time is the best time.
That is the best time. All right. So
All right.
let's see.
We were talking about improvements over the prototypes.
Yes. So the Black Pearl upper playfield is tweaked slightly. Allows the ball to kick up there from behind a lot cleaner than it used to. The molding on several of the toys changed to make them play better and work better. Like the fired upon ship, for example, got its geometry tweaked a bit. Lots of minor improvements to flat rails and ball guides to make the game flow better. The inner loop, for example, shoots a lot better on prototype games or on production games than it did on the prototype, just because of some small tweaks in the geometry for that. Let's see here. I don't know. The list goes on and on. I mean, there's mechs. There's height differences in the spinning pop bumper characters, tweaks to the way toys mount. And a lot of that stuff happens, when you start getting in all the parts and realizing that, the 15 prototype games we built, well, the parts that we order for production aren't all the same. There's tolerance, there's variance, and you gotta, on the fly, make things work the way they should. So there's some extra height added to the Devil's Triangle, for example. We noticed on a couple of the early games that the ball was catching. It was coming through the ball guide that goes through the Devil's Triangle on the way back down to the flipper. So, it was a stressful couple months.
But the bottom line is, like, if you play the prototypes, you got to play the production game to really evaluate the game for what it is.
One of the big things, shooting into the chest, for example. The prototype mech was really difficult to actually get a ball into the chest, and the one for production shoots really well. You can hit the ball from the right flipper, and it goes in there. Backhanding the shot is doable, but it's a lot more difficult because you got to get your left flipper down, upper left flipper down in time. But it shoots in there a lot cleaner than it ever did on the prototype games, and that had to do with the geometry of that mechanism.
Awesome. So we saw Dialed In kind of made the rounds after it came out, and Jack took it to basically every show all over the world, from Australia to all over the place. Is Pirates going to be on the same kind of schedule? And if so, where can folks look forward to playing it?
Yeah, it's definitely on the same schedule. Jack's going everywhere in the world with it. He's going to be in Australia next month, and he's going to be in London in January, and then the show season starts all over again, with Texas and on and on. So basically, if there is a pinball show near you, you're likely to see a Pirates there.
Awesome. So what's ahead for the code? We've seen some updates even since it's been out for a month or two now. What's coming ahead in the code? Are we going to see some? I know the Ultimate Wizard mode is still to come, but are there other refinements you guys are going to make too?
Most likely. And so the Final Wizard mode is the big one that's not in the game yet. But between myself, Keith, and Joe Katz, none of us have gotten close to that. So not too concerned that people are going to get there quite yet.
I'm holding off on getting there because I know it's not there. So I'm just, I don't want to do too good in the game.
Yeah, that's being big of you. Good job, man.
You're welcome.
So that's coming, and then there's, as we find code that we want to tweak or scoring that we want to balance, like even since I started playing as Barbossa, for example, because he has an interesting power that can really blow up wizard modes, and can make multi-balls pretty lucrative, just because it makes jackpots so much easier. One of the modifiers we made to him was to make every multi-ball you qualify one stage harder to qualify. So that means for multi-ball 3, for example, instead of hitting each shot once, you have to hit each shot, I think, twice, but with neighbors turned on. So if you hit the chest, you'd also, once the chest is qualified, you could also get credit for either the star map or the Port Royal shot on either side if you hit the chest again. So starting multi-balls will be harder for him, but again, his scoring hasn't changed. And some of the nuances we see when people are playing in tournaments, actually. I think the Buffalo Pinball Open over the summer revealed to us how one of the characters was, I wouldn't say exploitable, but played in a way that we didn't play it. And we saw some scoring blowing up in a way that, like, yeah, too many people are going to pick that guy because that's way too easy. So we changed that. I think it was playing as Philip, who makes Multiball 4 easier to start.
He was OP. Then you nerfed him. I'm translating for the kids.
Big time. Yeah, he was OP. We nerfed him big time. It used to be just shooting the inner loop was how you started that multi-ball or how you qualified that multi-ball. And now after the second time or third time, I think you have to shoot a combo shot, either the chest or the right orbit, and then into the inner loop to make progress along that multi-ball.
Yeah, I remember some discussion. I think it was on Tilt forums after the tournament. They were like, "How do you play this game in a tournament?" It was like, "Oh, you just pick him, and then you do this, and then you get 900 million points, easy."
I did. But he's like, "Yeah, well, we took that away." So.
Yeah, Kiefer's right there on Tilt forums going, "Okay, we're going to change that."
Mm-hmm.
All right. Does Kiefer realize he's going to be working on balancing this game for the next 10 years?
Yeah, he loves to tweak it. So.
So the question everybody wants to know the answer to: when can people expect their games? What's the timeline for LEs and standards and CEs?
So I know we're shipping out lots of games. I know our distributors, domestic distributors, were all given an allotment of I think 6 games this week, and then they're supposed to get. I heard from one distributor that he got a call about 8 more games before the end of November. So. They're coming.
So these are the LEs right now?
These are the LEs and SEs.
Okay.
The CEs we're anticipating to build before the end of the year. So people should be, hopefully we can get them their CEs under the Christmas tree.
So have we seen, are there any changes that you want to talk about for the CEs? I know we saw the barnacles and stuff at Expo last year. Is that going to be kind of what we saw?
The barnacles have changed. I wouldn't say significantly, but they look better. They are larger pieces that are on the armor instead of a bunch of small, tiny pieces. Because after Expo, we were all looking at it and taking a step back and realized it kind of looked like stuck-on magnets, and that's not the look we wanted. So we took a step back and tweaked all that art. Matt Reister resculpted everything a couple times because I'm a bit of a jerk. So... He did that for me, and I think it turned out really, really nice. I mean, it looks really good. So those will be coming. The ship in the bottle topper has gotten some mechanical tweaks to it to make it run better and make it run. It's a really cool toy.
Agreed.
So I really want to make it shine on the top there. And then the artwork was all punched up and looks awesome.
Awesome. Well, hopefully somebody around here gets one of those so I can check it out. So more importantly, where's Zach Menney's game? Because I want him to get pushed back one more spot in line.
So now he's at what, 59.83?
Yeah.
I think.
All right.
He asked a couple times at Expo, so I had to push him back.
Just I wanted to knock him back one more for him. So we were streaming this game during the Bro Show. We started talking about Jack the Monkey, right? Because he's the monkey in the game. And you told us some interesting facts about your interactions with Jack the Monkey and his agent, right?
Yes. So as we were going through designing the game, I was in main contact with Disney, and I had, I think, 14 people's contact information at Disney that I had to talk with. And I remember on the first game on Stern's Pirates that they had references to Jack the Monkey. So I'm like, oh, cool. Yeah, let's, obviously he's usable. We'll put him in there. He'll be something, or whatever. And Disney comes back and says, Jack's monkey is not allowing him to be featured in video games anymore.
Oh, what a prima donna.
Okay. I'm like, well, how about the dog? They're like, no, he can't be in the game either. Really? Okay. Well, that's how they roll, I guess.
The monkey and dogs have agents that...
Dude, he's probably just playing hardball, and this is a negotiation tactic.
Right. How much did I want the monkey?
Apparently not enough.
Not enough.
So, all right. So let's get into some questions. We got a lot of questions from viewers that they wanted to pass along to you. Some of them were more for like us and our experience with the game, but for the folks that had questions for you, let's get into those. So the first one is from Yellowbird on Pinside.
Yep.
All right, I'm sorry.
You like the names?
No, just Rad Ryan says I hate pretentious animals. Me too.
Yeah, don't we all?
Agreed.
So this is Proco had a similar question, so I kind of put them both together here. He says, question for Eric. Did you start the mechanical design after collaboration with the software team's code vision, or did they write the code story as seen in the mechanical as they saw the mechanical direction unfold? So as far as like playfield design and rules and code, how did that all work together?
Basically every time. So I drew out a playfield and came up with the mechanisms, and then I talked to everyone in the office about like Keith and the mechanical engineers and Joe and JT and Ted about the rules and how we can integrate things. And it's really a marriage of how everything comes together. Like there were definitely influences. I mean, I think the cannon actually was Keith's idea. Like he walked into the office one day and I had the ship on the other side. He's like, what if we put a cannon? Like, dude, sold. We're doing it. And it's such a hodgepodge isn't the right word. It's such a melting pot of all the different disciplines, the art, the rules, the mechanical engineering. It all comes together. And if one person or one aspect of the game try to just do it on their own, it wouldn't be what the game is. It would have become such a good game if just one person or one aspect of the design did everything without consulting with everyone else.
So he wants to know, did you have involvement in some of the software code direction?
I would make suggestions to Keith, but let's be honest, it's Keith Johnson. What am I going to say to him that he doesn't already know?
Fair enough. And he closed with amazing pen, so he's a fan. So hidden items. We've seen the random select flipper code. They kind of pick somebody at random. We found that there was a hidden Mickey on the spinning disc. We found him. Is there anything else hidden in the game we should be on the lookout for?
Well, there's the hidden jackpot for all 6 multi-balls.
I still haven't found that yet.
Focus.
I know.
Not that hard. I think someone clipped a clip of it from our Twitch stream when Cats got it. So
I'll have to go back and check it out.
There is some other artwork in the game, but I don't know what I'm allowed to talk about.
Don't get yourself in trouble.
I won't.
All right.
There's other stuff in there. And maybe after 4 games, we'll see a trend.
We'll get Martha on it. She's the one that found the hidden Mickey in like 5 seconds.
Right
on. So what's your involvement been with some of the other JJP games like Waz and Hobbit Dial? You talked about reworking some of the mechanical and electrical parts of them, right? Anything beyond that?
I mean, just because of the way I play games, I definitely do a lot of the code testing and look for bugs and tries, to break things. So definitely play the games a lot with the software guys and go through them. I mean, other than the electrical engineering, my mechanical involvement with Hobbit was there a bit, like the Smog Jaw, getting him to talk and stuff like that, and kind of the concept for the mech. I was a pretty integral part of. I was probably the biggest Tolkien nerd in the company when we were doing that game, so I wanted to make it true to form and true to the book. There were suggestions about there's a big ugly dragon on the playfield, let's whack him with the ball over and over again. And I, shuddered a bit at that. Like, no, he's Smog. He only gets hit once. And then one more time. So you gotta hit the scale, and then the only time he's been shot, and then the final kill shot, of course. So there was some pushback from from me on aspects of that game on the design, but it came out very good, very good.
I'm a fan. I got one for myself. So tell us about, we've talked about it a little bit, Jersey Jack Pinball Live. You're the first manufacturer to really start streaming gameplay of your games on Twitch. What was the inspiration behind that? What's that experience been like for you?
Well, so as we were doing code development and bug finding, we found ourselves playing the game for about an hour a day, and we figured it would be fun if people could see the way a game actually evolves, instead of just, here it is, take what we serve and be happy with it. It's, you guys can see the way it evolves, how the different scoring gets balanced, when new rules get in, when new light shows get in. We thought that would be an interesting experience for people, and it seems like it's paid off. People really like it. I heard nothing but compliments all expo. I know Joe and Keith were the same. They kept hearing people talk about how great it is to be able to talk live with the people who created the game, and how the Twitch feed teaches them the rules, which is something they can't really learn in an environment, like at an expo, for example, or something like that. So it was a lot of good feedback. And then we got some feedback of, you make this game look way too damn easy, and it's kicking my ass. And
well, you guys are amazing players, so it's like, oh, you just step up and play this game for 20 minutes every time, no big deal. Yeah. Right. And then you go to play it yourself, and it's like, what? So everybody always wants to know what's next. You're working on game number 2 right now, right? Can you share anything about what we can look forward to after Pirates?
No.
I don't even know why people ask these questions. I mean, like,
yeah,
2 points for trying.
Yeah,
but come on.
Right.
Maybe Eric's gonna slip up and then get in trouble. He's drinking. He saw the beer. It's like, okay, maybe.
Yeah, I'm only 3/4 of the way through Pinball Pale Ale, so.
But there is another game coming. He takes a drink.
Yes.
Yeah, all right.
I am working on another game.
Awesome.
And it's coming along.
All right, we got a question from TurboGrafx7 on Twitter. He says, since Eric said he loves Lord of the Rings so much, what is it like to work with Kiefer and have him be the programmer for your game?
I mean, Keith is great. Like, Keith has put in rules in games that blow away most, like the rules on our in lanes are more complicated than most other games out there, deeper than most other games out there. And I love that. It's not anything you have to focus on if you don't choose to, but if you do pay attention to this small aspect of the game, it will be rewarding. And that's just the way that the game is created. He does a great job. I have, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I have 5 Keith Johnson games in my basement.
So you're kind of a fan.
I am. I did bring in my translate and had Keith sign it. Like, I don't know, a year after I'd been working there. So it's cool.
That's awesome. So I got a question from This Week in Pinball on Twitter. Yes. Joe Balser just released an Oktoberfest design, and he's one of the few designers that doesn't really have a style from one game to another. Is there any specific style or elements of design that you were looking to incorporate into a future project after Pirates?
As far as what's already in Pirates and what I would carry on to other games,
I guess, yeah.
I don't think I can answer that yet. I've only done one game. I like, from Pirates, the way that I like playing games is I don't like shots that just, you shoot them and they do one thing and they come back. To me, that's boring. I would prefer that there be a diverter or there be an alternate path for the ball to take. I like it when a player can control things in the game and do things like an under the flipper shot. I love under the flipper shots. I think it's so cool that the player chooses to lift up their upper flipper and shoot it underneath and, make that shot and be rewarded for it. So that's something I like.
Nice. Rubber ducks or yellow? This is a very important one. Are you ready for this? He wants to know if you can bench press a JJPOTC. And if you haven't tried, why not?
I could probably squat a POTC. I think current lift program has me squatting 300 even right now, 5 sets of 5. I could probably max press a POTC, which comes in around 340. But my bench is not nearly that high. I could bench the front of a POTC or the back of a POTC, but probably not the whole thing.
I was gonna say, Eric. I wish Eric lived in Buffalo because he can help move a pinball machine. He can help repair a pinball machine, fix a pinball machine. So listen, if you want to move, we'll help you. We'll find lodging, whatever. This is great. Keep him on the radar.
Nick will have you move in right with him.
That's good. There you go.
Nice.
All right, from Proco via email, he had a few questions. He says, at what point during the design and development of POTC did you take different kinds of players and different viewing angles into consideration, and how did you accept or solve these problems? So some of the things he mentions are the right ramp is now transparent, so you can see the upper loops, arrows. He says weaker players might not be able to nudge the ball back into play from the out lanes, and there is no auto ball save to compensate.
Well, stop being weak.
Yeah. You got to get on your lift program.
Yeah.
Get swole.
You get rewarded.
Get swole, bro. And the map targets and star map won't be visible on most streams, and sometimes the compass won't. So was there any of that in under consideration?
Why didn't you make the star ramp visible for our streams?
Yeah, come on.
I mean, this is what we were trying to get down to. Kevin put that last question in there. I kid.
I mean, streaming is fun, right? But the first thing that comes into mind when designing the game is from the player's point of view. And that's all sorts of players, right? That's not just your average U.S. male who is 5'10", but you get people that are shorter or taller or people that are in wheelchairs. I'm very glad I went to Denver last year because there was a very enthusiastic customer who was physically handicapped. He was wheelchair bound, and he was playing our games. And I noticed him playing some games, and then I saw him play dialed in with the little wire form bar over the apron, and you can see right through it. Whereas some of our Wizard of Oz, for example, with the wooden apron, is a lot taller. It sticks up a little bit more, so it's harder to see. Like I could see him lifting his chin when he was playing that game more to see his flippers. So that's definitely an aspect that I took into account when I was designing Pirates, keeping that wire form there so you can see through it. Also works for younger kids. When I see my son walk up to a game, he can barely see at the lockdown bar. So having it so you can see the whole play field from any height, I mean, from a toddler to Todd McCulloch, playing the game, I want everyone to be able to see what they're doing. As far as the nudging goes, yes, you can skillfully nudge both sides of the game and save it, but it saves it on its own as often as you try to save it. So I wasn't too concerned about people not being able to nudge. And if you're really throwing the game around so much that you're able to adjust it, then you're probably going to tilt anyways.
Nick had an amazing save right before the stream where it shot out of the scoop, hit the inside of the apron, and then rolled up into the back, into the escape, and then into the shooter lane. It'll probably never happen again.
That's a great design. Just in case it shoots it down the middle by accident, nicely done.
Totally planned.
I mean, well, actually, I thought about making it so it couldn't roll back up the right out lane because I could have. There's a rubber ring there, and I could have just stopped the apron a little shorter, and it would have. But like you said, it's a rare occurrence when it rolls all the way up, and it's you freak out as a player when that happens. You're super excited, to get a saved ball because you
don't expect it at all.
Yeah.
All right, got another email here from Eric Tuffy. He submitted this like 2 minutes before we went live, so I snuck it in here. He says, "Have you ever built your own homebrew pin?"
No.
No.
I mean, Pirates is basically my homebrew pin.
There you go. We talked about electrical engineering before, but so we'll skip that one. But he says he's super excited to get his game in. He's got one on order.
Awesome.
All right. So let's see. So I think the rest of these questions are for us. So, Nick, did you have anything else you wanted to add or ask?
I just want to say I love plundering in the game. I told you this. I I love this game. It's my favorite game. Now, Kevin and I will talk.
Yeah,
in a
we're
minute
going to
about our
gush. We'll let you go, and
impressions,
then we'll gush.
but, dude, thanks for creating an amazing game. It's very impressive that you, in my opinion, knocked it out of the park for your first go. So, man, keep it up. It's awesome what you guys are doing. So, thank you. You guys are true artists.
Thank you. Appreciate that. And it's, the whole team is responsible for making a really good game. So I thank the whole team as well.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So JP DeWin, David Thiel, every piece of the Jersey Jack experience is great. So that's what I really appreciate about these games, and that's why we're gonna fanboy out.
All right. Well,
but thanks for joining us. So we'll let you go and relax after getting the kids to bed. And really appreciate you taking some time and hanging out with us and answering some questions from our viewers and listeners.
You're very welcome. Thanks, guys.
All right.
Good
Take
one.
care.
Yep.
All right, so this is basically a JJP pirate show.
Yep.
Right, celebrating the fact that the game is shipping now. Kevin and I got like the first run, some of the first games out there. We're very fortunate and grateful for that. You spent more time than I have, but I've certainly spent more time than most people have with the game. So let's talk about that.
Yeah, we were kind of I felt we were in a unique position to answer a lot of questions. Like a lot of folks have been watching the streams I've been doing because they're anxiously awaiting their games as they're rolling off the production line. So I was like, well, let's just talk about Pirates. Everybody's going to recap Expo stuff. And we did a little bit of that, but we can really kind of dive in and go deep on Pirates. So before we get into everybody's Q&A, just let's start with our general impressions. How do you feel about the game now that you've had it in your house and you've been playing it? And we hinted at it a little bit here, but let's really dive into the Pirates experience.
So here's the too long didn't read. This is now my favorite pinball machine ever. It's replaced Walking Dead Premium, which has held that top spot for 3 years now. I absolutely love this game. I sincerely do. I'm blown away with it. This game, to me, after being in the hobby like aggressively for 7-8 years, collecting, playing in a ton of tournaments, it's it makes me excited for a pinball machine. It really does. It makes me like that excited feeling when I got Iron Man, and that was my first pinball machine, and I just got into pinball, and I was like, wow, this is awesome. And what's happened over the years is you play a lot of games, you get exposed to it. It's not that you're not excited, but that initial excitement, that initial hit, right, fades away. And we've seen games come out that are good from other manufacturers, but might be rehashes of designs or have cut back on the toys and just a little samey, a little plain, still good, still fun. But this game is I think at the pinnacle right now of what a pinball machine can do, and I absolutely love it. And we'll dive into certain sectors, but I think this game has the best lastability of any pinball machine out there. And as somebody who has a collection now, I think I've got 13 pinball machines in my house. Martha owns some. I don't like to move games in and out of my basement, so I look at a game that I buy now. I don't just kind of casually buy one and think, oh, I'll get rid of it in a month or two, like I used to, right? Because I used to be more mobile with my games.
You don't buy a Bone Busters just to stream it and then get rid
exactly,
of it.
Exactly, Kevin. So I look at a game that I can keep for years, if not for, forever. You start saying forever, it's crazy, but like for a long time. So it's really got to make the cut, right? And this game has incredible lastability. I feel like, granted, I've played it for a week as opposed to you've played it much longer, and I've obviously played it at shows and stuff, but I feel like I am just scratching the surface of it because there's so many different ways you can play, but don't let that overwhelm you if you're like, man, I don't want an overwhelming game. You can just step up to the game. My mom can step up to the game wherever and play it, and something cool is going to happen, and she's going to think it's the greatest thing.
Yep.
Right? It's that depth is there for us, for people who are buying machines for the home, and you want a game like that. If you're going to spend that kind of money on a pinball machine, whether it's Stern prices or JJP prices, man, it's got to last. And this game absolutely will last.
Stern prices and JJP prices are getting real. The difference is getting pretty narrow between the LEs and the Jersey Jacks, anyways. But I'm in like full like Jersey Jack pinball. Like I need these games. These are the games I want to play right now, and so much so that I went out and got a Hobbit too. And what the realization I came to is that these are kind of the ultimate games to have in your house, right? Because there's just
They are
so much content, super polished. If if you want a game that looks great in your game room and there's just so much to explore, these are the games you want at home. Maybe not the best for tournament play because they tend to be long playing games. You can kind of make them difficult, but then I feel that's like not how they were intended to be played. They're a game like Hobbit. You can take the center post out, you can take the rubbers off the out lanes and all that, but then you're not going to have the experience that really that game was made for. So I'm really just loving the whole package, that the kind of a whole experience you get from a game like Pirates, because you look at the all the characters you can pick at the start of the game, right? So you start off, you're like, oh, I'll try this guy for a while, and then you play a couple games, and you're like, maybe I'll try this guy for a while, or I'll try her and see how my strategy changes. So it's little opportunities like that to play the game differently. And I know we've talked about that. There are certain games, like I love Tron, but it's basically you play it one way and that's how it is.
Right.
I love that game for what it is, but you play it basically the same way every time you step up to it.
I'm very excited to just delve into all these characters and try them. And I pick one character and you'll play that one character for quite some time. You don't just play it and then move on to the next one, because you're just formulating all these different strategies with that character and trying to understand them as best as possible. It's just there's so much to do there. I think you give Game of Thrones credit from Stern that sort of had that idea that you pick your house and you can change the rules. It's like, wow, that's really cool. In that game there's maybe 5 houses, something like that, and only 2 or 3 out of them, or even argue 1 or 2 are really worth picking. Something like that. Everybody tends to pick the same ones. With these over 20 characters, there's a lot of options to go into it. So many different ways to play, many different viable ways to play. You just told me the other day you got a high score and you picked this different character, and there's a strategy around that.
Yep. And that was with Norrington, and Eric told me that he had been playing as him. So he makes the modes easier to complete, but they're worth less points. So I was like, I want to just see as much of this game as I can right now. I'm going to pick Norrington, and I'm just going to hammer through modes and see how many I can get to. And that was the first game that I completed. I made it to 2 wizard modes on one game, and I ended up with 2.7 million points. So that was my high score so far, and I was like, wow, that was pretty cool. And this was with a character that made the modes less valuable. So what scoring opportunities are in there if I pick somebody else and try a strategy that plays into playing modes, and I'm able to cash them out for even more. So there's a lot to consider, a lot to go back and kind of explore and try different things, which that's what makes a game like that great, right?
And now that I've had in my house, paying attention to the action button on there, it changes the in lane out lane awards, where you spell pirate with those in out lanes. Once you complete it, you'll be awarded that. Well, you'll qualify it, right? Then you got to shoot the pirate target and it will award it, and then there might be another step after that. But just delving into that and trying to say, okay, do I want a shot X, or do I want a light bonus X, or do I want to add more time or add a ball, or do I want to get super X? Just thinking, and with the character you pick, that can change all that, and where you are in the game can change all that. So for all of us rule nerds out there, you should be very excited for this, because Eric was saying Kiefer has more rules than those inlanes than I feel like some pinball machines have total. This is awesome. This is a good thing. Again, if you're getting overwhelmed by it, you don't need to do that. Right? You can have fun with this game without doing that. So don't worry. But it just adds so much more to that game, and it's so cool. I absolutely love that. And it's not something that I jumped into at first, because when I was playing the game at shows and when I first got in the house, I'm just focused on figuring the game out and the shots out and figuring out the rules. I think that comes over time, and that's what's awesome about this, because, and speaks to the last ability, is that there's a lot to really digest and appreciate over time.
Yeah, it's just that level of depth that gives you something else to kind of experiment with and try, and probably the most fun I have with the game is during that experimentation period. It's figuring out what does what and how do I make it do this, and can I get it up to the upper playfield and shoot the other ship, and little stuff like that. So the more of that in a game is going to make it more lastable in my collection. I'm going to keep it longer, and because it just gives me more to do, more to explore, right?
Yeah. The the ship that rocks back and forth, and somebody asks a question, it does go left and right. Mm-hmm. It was better than the prototype.
Oh, yeah,
the
way
prototype
better, yeah.
just seemed to lean to the left. This is moving. This is rocking back and forth.
That's probably what Eric was talking about.
Yeah.
The stuff you don't see kind of behind the playfield.
Yeah, this is. I mean, to me, this is the best upper playfield in pinball. Mm-hmm. It's fucking amazing. The fact that you got a playfield that's rocking back and forth and moving is something innovative. And what's cool about it, it's not in there just to be in there. It fits the theme, right? Mm-hmm. It's the ship rocking back and forth. It just adds to the whole presentation, the experience of the game, and they nailed it.
Yep, and it has a good specific purpose. You know, you need to sink the ship on the other side to advance that multi-ball, but it's not one of those upper play fields where it's like, well, I remember when we went to the Cleveland show. What game was it that they were playing the upper play field all the time? One of the classics, Solar Ride, I think it was. Eric Stone.
Sorry, I'm blanking on.
Eric Stone played it in the playoffs for like an hour.
That's it, yeah.
So it's not an upper play field where you're like,
no,
I'm just going to put it up there and play up there all day because it's safe.
Yeah.
You go up there, it's dangerous. It's hard to control because it's moving back and forth. There's a post on the right that you can move to make it more difficult or easier. But even with that, it's going to be tough. It's going to be a tough call to keep it up there either way.
Yeah, you're not going up there a ton.
Mm-hmm.
When you're up there, you appreciate it. It's not like, oh, I'm done. You know, like the AC/DC lower playfield is pretty bad. I think it's kind of boring. I never go down there. You want to get up there. You're not going to last up there for long, and it's fun while it's up there, and it's exciting, and you're kind of really focus on the shots because it's totally different. 1 minute's leaning here. The shot's going to be normally here, but no, it's leaning this way. It's different. Man, it's just so cool.
And it progresses over time. Like, so when you first start the game, it's moving a little bit, but once you sink a ship, it starts moving more.
Oh, really?
More.
I didn't even notice that.
Yeah, it gets harder and harder as you go through the game. Yeah,
that's
absolutely.
awesome. And one of the characters you could pick actually makes the ship movement easier, which is cool.
So if you want to play on the upper playfield, it makes it a little easier for you.
Yeah, that's awesome. You know what? The game doesn't have voices from the characters. They have a voice actor that gives excellent call outs. I think this voice actor does a perfect job. Love it from the movies.
If you know the movies, it's Gibbs from the movies.
Gibbs from the movie. Okay, so when it's showing movie clips, it doesn't show any of the actors or actresses in the movie clips, and it doesn't play the lines. Thank God. First of all, I don't care about any of these movies, but I like I've said this before, I like the generic theme of pirates. I always wish there was a good pirate pinball machine, and this is it. So if you don't care about the movies, but you like the idea of pirates, then this is, man, you're going to be really excited for this. I absolutely hate in Guardians of the Galaxy how when you pick a mode, it shows the scene over and over again. It does the lines. I mean, thank God it doesn't do that. Perfect. That's perfect in my book.
Yeah. It's I don't know. It kind of hits the best of both worlds in that aspect. I guess if you're a huge Pirates fan and you want to have, like The Hobbit does a great job of integrating movie clips from the movie with the characters. If you want all that, it doesn't have that, but it takes what it has and presents it in a very cool way. It makes you feel like you're part of the Pirates, the Pirates universe, without necessarily just playing through the scenes of the movie, right?
Yeah. Yeah. So it's. Man, it nails it. What else do we move on to? Let's talk about the sound in the game. Because sound, as I said before, is very important to me personally. I've bought games that aren't very good games, but I got suckered in with the sound, like Time Machine and Swords of Fury. I'm sorry, Kevin. But David Thiel has knocked it out of the park with the sound in the game. It's got a big booming bass, like a subwoofer in it, right? So like, it just sounds really, just the fidelity of the sound is really good. You come to expect from JJP games, but music's great in it. Like I said, the Gibbs, the voice actor, does great call outs that get you involved. I'm always kind of not mocking, but doing the
reciting the lines.
Gold. Probably to people's Martha's annoyment.
You can't help yourself though.
Yeah, Martha probably doesn't appreciate that, but it's so good, man.
We got some gold going into the Big Cup tonight, which I appreciate, but. Yeah, the sound, the music is awesome and piratey like you would want, right? And it's got they couldn't use the official song from the movie, but it's like,
which is a good song. It's unfortunate, but it's okay.
What's there? Like we've got, you guys have the Stern Pirates at Game On, and I go there and I play it, and I was like, oh, that is a really good song. But then you play this, and it's like, it's really close. Like the music, the main kind of like out of mode music.
Well, yeah, you're not just going to play that song over and over again
Right.
anyway. So you need to have a good sound and music package beyond just that. So it's too bad they don't have that iconic song. I don't think anybody would say differently, but the sound and the music is so damn good in the game that, you know, it's easy to forget about it.
It's got the epic kind of feel that you would want from like a blockbuster movie kind of theme. So I don't know. The call outs are great. He's got doing multiple versions of all the call outs. So when you hit a shot and you hear him say gold, he's got like 10 different ways he says gold. So it's not like the same thing over and over again. It just gets super repetitive.
Yeah, not repetitive.
No. And yeah, the booming sound. I hooked up a external subwoofer to mine too to just sort of kind of put it over the top, and it's awesome.
I can't believe you did that. I don't think that's needed for a second, but you're a madman.
Well,
so.
the fidelity is so good on the games that I think it justifies it. I think on Hobbit 2, like when Smog talks to you, it's
okay. That's
impressive.
I'll see that.
Yeah,
I like.
We'll do that after this.
I like the mode start shot in the game.
Yeah.
When you hit it back.
Oh, we forgot to ask Eric about that.
Oh, the Mylar?
Yeah, damn it.
He's gonna say no. He's not. They're not gonna say like, "Oh, we should put it there," but we'll see in the future games, I'm sure.
Yeah.
But when you hit the chapter select, like that's your mode start. What happens, unless you pick one specific characters, is it randomizes the ones that are qualified. So there's magnets up there, and they'll move the ball around, and it will hit targets, and that's kind of how it picks the mode or chapter that you're playing in. Super cool. Mm-hmm. I don't know, man. I there's all these like little things in there too that they could have just had this scoop back there and it picked a mode or something and that's it. But like they came up with something unique and original for mode selection.
And the stand-up targets correspond to the different modes and color and stuff. So the ones you have lit are the ones that if it hits those randomly, that's what it ends up selecting. So it's not just software doing it; it's physically hitting the target and changing the modes, which is awesome.
Yeah, and speaking of which, the animations in the LCD it's amazing the quality that and effort that's put into that because it's the best one, I think. I mean, JJP has great LCD animations, but I think this is at their best. A lot of great information on the screen, very pleasing to see. I don't. Anything else you want to say on that, or?
I bow to JP to win. He's amazing.
Yeah.
He's unparalleled in the industry right now.
Like little things that maybe you take it for granted, but like the timer. I mean, they could have just put a 30-second timer and it counts down, but instead there's like an old-timey stopwatch that's showing the time. I mean, there's just little things in there you start to notice that you're like, these guys are artists. I mean, they're not just manufacturing pinball machines and getting out there and saying next. There's a lot of care, attention, and detail that went into this game, and you can so appreciate. So when you step up into it in maybe a public venue and you're like, this is cool, hopefully you can spend some time with it. Hopefully you can see it in the home environment and really spend time on it because you're going to just notice these little details that you just might not appreciate in kind of a public environment.
I'm going to go ahead and give a plug for our streams because, why not? So I've been streaming it. We've been doing direct audio and a direct video feed from the back glass. So I think both those things are real important to see because if you just point a camera at the back box and it's small on the screen, you're not going to see all that detail, right? And the audio too, you can put the headphones on and really appreciate it for what it is. So go ahead and check out some of our past videos on Twitch. You'll be able to check that stuff out.
Talk about the way the game shoots, right? I mean,
okay.
You got to have a game that shoots well. I'm trying to describe this. It's a wide body. But it doesn't come across as slow to me at all. It's not. It's funny. It's not a super long playing game. Like Hobbit's a long playing game. This game you can have longer games on it, but it can also be brutally short if you go with factory settings, and that's how I keep it with no ball save on, tilts per game. I like it that way. The spinning disc helps keep it kind of random. I like games that have some kind of random. I don't like. I can appreciate pure flow games. But I like games where the ball's kind of coming back at you and you got to be on your toes to make saves. I think it does it well. So, I mean, the upper part, not the upper playfield, but the top half of the machine has some really satisfying looping shots. So you hit the upper left flipper, it loops around. You can kind of keep on doing these loops. And as you do that, you build combos. You can get more gold. So there's a reward for that. Also starts some multi-ball. That shot also shoots into the map hole and the map targets. So there's a lot going on there. It's actually very similar to the looping shot on Iron Maiden. I just find it, I think, a little more satisfying. I think there's a little bit more going on there.
Yeah.
Right. It doesn't necessarily hit the dead end stuff. Targets come back. So very cool. The lower part of the playfield is a little more trap and shoot. And you have to be accurate because there's a lot of danger down there.
Oh, yeah.
Bricking off the targets and come back at you. So I find it an interesting game. It's got some flow on the top portion, a little more dangerous on the bottom portion of it. Interesting enough that it's unique enough to be interesting, but not like weird, or I don't find that there's any bad shots in the game. I find they're all good and satisfying. Mm-hmm. I find the whirlpool shot a little tough because it's not where I think where it is mentally, so I'm getting that down.
Yeah.
Eric was mentioning, kind of like a hole underneath a flipper.
Yeah.
Like the Bayou jackpot shot. Like, again,
Love that.
super cool. Super cool and unique. There's so much innovation and different things in that game that I think a lot of us has been starving for and saying, finally, here's a game that does something new, something unique rules. I think starving is a good word because I get tired of the cookie cutter stuff. So it's very refreshing.
Yeah, it does a great job of using the space of a wide body, right? It's not just a wide body for the sake of being wide. Every shot is cool and interesting. Some of them are more challenging, I think, because of it's a wide body, like the spinner shot on the far left is in a tough spot on the flipper. It's makeable, but
yeah, it's tough. I almost avoid it until I have to hit it.
It's like, I need to start that multi-ball, or I want to go for that mode. But one thing I was telling you about this earlier, I had qualified the multi-ball on that one. It's the purple one. I can't even remember the names of it. The purple multi-ball.
Dead Man Tell No Tales or whatever.
I think that's it.
The most recent movie.
And then I had got the ball into the cannon, and then I sank the ship with the cannonball, and it started the multi-ball from the left spinner shot because the ship that you sink from the cannon also feeds into that, wherever it goes into the trough or whatever in there. So it was like this really satisfying moment where I was able to. It's like, I thought I had.
He said,
"It's a bug. Don't take it out. I love it."
Oh, Kevin likes it because it's cheating. It's a bug.
It's not cheating.
You got
it's like,
credit for something that you didn't earn.
It's like another way to accomplish it. I saw it as
it's cheating.
You know how you can plunge into the ship and it advances you towards that multi-ball. It's not.
Is that cheating too, Keeper?
It's rewarding you for hitting the skill shot.
Yeah, that's a cheating.
I think that should reward you for hitting it through the ship and starting that mode. But now we saw.
We didn't even talk about the cannon.
We didn't? Did we? Yeah, we've been talking about the cannon.
Well, the cannon shot. Okay. Well, we talked about it in the interview, but I mean, it's got a cannon that shoots another ship. That's awesome. Good job, Keeper, for suggesting that.
One thing before that I didn't realize before I owned it was that if you hit the ship but don't sink it, it still registers a shot. So there's two switches. There's one. Like if you hit the ship and if the ship physically moves, that's one. It registers as a hit. Or if you shoot it through the hole, that registers as a sink. So
I see.
If you hit the ship twice, then it sinks the ship. If you're not able to hit it through to the hole, he'll consider not fixing it. See, we're changing lives here. Cheaters. A new game rule. It's a feature.
The only thing that if I'm gonna offer some criticism about the game, I was never a fan of the artwork on the playfield. I don't know why. That was just me. It sort of falls into it gets the job done, and I think that's because they're working with a license and there's only so much you can do with it. But I not that I came around to the art, but the lighting is so damn good that it's kind of cool what happens in the game. Like when you're in certain modes, the lighting will change for like the color of that mode, and it changes sort of how the artwork looks in the game. The artwork works really well with the lighting in the game, and the lighting changes, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. Like when any new pin is revealed and you see the art, it's like, oh, you got to see it with the lighting on it, and that's true to an extent. But when you see awesome art packages like Deadpool or Iron Maiden, stuff like that, this isn't at that level from we're just going to do whatever we want. We have an artist that has free reign to do whatever they want on the playfield. But I think the composition of the playfield and the coloring and the way everything is laid out makes a lot of sense. Yeah, it's a lot of like heads of the characters and inserts with the names of the characters kind of thing. But it works. And I step back from the game and I look at it and I go, this is a beautiful game.
There's no doubt that the game is I just walk in the room where the pinball machines and stare at it for a little while.
I like to turn on these 3 and just kind of stand back and look.
It's beautiful. I mean, I think it's JGP's most impressive game to date. It's my new favorite pinball machine. Highly recommend it. I hope everybody gets a chance to play it in a way where they can really experience it. Working right. Like, so hopefully if it's on location, the operator takes care of it. The sound cranked up so you can hear and appreciate it. You can plug headphones in. Do that.
Yeah.
Like if you can, take headphones, plug it in, and you solve that issue. So let's we go to questions.
We got a lot of questions. So this was kind of the thing that really prompted us to do this, because I was getting DMs on Pinside and I was like, man, I don't want to answer all these questions. Let's just talk about it on the show, and we can because I'm sure other people have the same question. So these came through in a DM, and I didn't ask them if they wanted to ask them on the show, so we're not going to say who they came from. But this somebody asked, I'm on the fence whether to buy one or not. Now that you've had yours for a while and the honeymoon is period over, are you still enjoying it? And I think we would enthusiastically say yes.
Look, I don't think I don't know when the honeymoon ends. I don't see that changing. I've played enough pinball machines that I'm confident that this is the real deal.
Yeah.
And I'm not even though I'm in the honeymoon, that's not going to change.
The other thing you have to consider too is, like, I don't have to play the guessing or the waiting game on code. It's like,
oh yeah,
when you get this game, it's there. Like, everything's there,
yeah,
except for like
there.
the one thing at the end you're probably not going to get to in the next 5 years.
Tweaks,
anyways.
but like, yeah, it's awesome.
You know what you're getting. It's a full featured game. All the main features are in there. The gameplay is great, so you can properly evaluate it from day one and really get a feel for it. You don't have to guess what it's going to be in a year or 2 years from now, right?
Yep.
Any technical problems with it?
I had my spinning disc wasn't working out of the box. I think I fixed it. I think it was just the connection must have gotten loose. I think it's gonna. I might have to change some Molex connectors. What else? The zip tie was put behind like one of the targets. I got to move that. Just rearrange the zip tie. But other than that, I think I've been good.
Yeah, I had to do a couple things. I had to reroute the wiring under the ship up top because it was supposed to go to the left and it was straight back. So that just took a couple zip ties to fix that.
Kevin and I got some of the first games, so we get to be the beta testers for you guys. You're welcome.
What's amazing is, like, I'm friends with Eric on Facebook, so I hit him up and go, "What's going on with this?" And he goes, "Do this." I'm like, I was thinking to myself, it's like if it was the '90s and I had Pat Lawler at the ready to talk to about the game that I just bought. It's pretty crazy. So he's been great, and the whole crew has been good. Trying to think. Oh, I had one switch that wasn't working. We got that figured out. That was basically it.
Yeah.
I mean,
right now my head's off. That scares me. I got to get that on so I can play the game.
That was by choice.
Yeah, we decapitated it. It's painful.
Yeah, it's I mean, especially as Nick Lane has experienced, basically any pinball machine you get brand new is going to need some adjustments or tweaks.
Yeah,
box,
I'm
right?
7 for 7 with something needed to be tweaked. Don't like it. I wish in an ideal world they all worked 100% out of the box, but I get it. I
think that's just the nature of, like, hand building these super complex pinball machines. I don't know. I don't agree. You're spending all this money on a machine. You buy, especially brand new. A lot of folks buy brand new because it's like, oh, it's brand new. I don't have to worry about it. But,
see, Zavadoza brings up a good thing. So my chest is releasing too many balls when it locks it.
Oh, there's a setting.
There's a setting that Eric showed him. So I'm going to ask Eric about that. Eric, if you're still listening, let me know what that setting is. I can't do anything about it because my game's not put together. Awesome. So that's easy to fix.
Or you can just message Zavadoza.
I can do settings. I can fix that.
Nick can do settings.
It's exciting.
Is the spinning disc loud?
You can hear it, but at least the volume level that I have my game set at, like, I don't really hear it. You know what I mean? Like, it's spinning. It's louder than I feel like a Whirlwind or something, or like other games with spinning discs.
Yeah.
But again, where I have my volume settings, I don't really notice it unless I'm looking for it, I guess. That makes sense.
I think it's on par with, like, the spinning disc in Tron, because that one I don't notice when I'm playing it either, but when I take the glass off and it's going, you're like, oh, that's pretty loud. So it's the same kind of thing. So if you're familiar with Tron and the disc in that, and you can compare it to that, then it's about the same loudness level, I guess you could say. What do you think about the light show? Is it comparable with dialed in? I would say absolutely.
Yeah, it's probably better. I don't. I mean, it's like I love the lights on this, like how they change with the chapter that you're in.
Mm-hmm.
Just kind of like little things like the inserts on the playfield and how the movies are color coded. You kind of figure out. Like I was trying to describe the game to Martha and like what to do, what to shoot, and like once she kind of understood that the certain colors correspond to certain movies in the game, it made sense, and the lighting cues you in on that too.
Yeah.
So very well done, very impressive. Look, I mean, Dialed In has amazing light shows too. So this is almost like in mood lighting sometimes, like in this game, like in JJP where
Pirates.
Yeah, Pirates. Yeah, I don't know. It's different, but very impressive.
It's a different style, right? Like Dialed In is fun and campy and over the top and in your face. Like I always go back to the extra ball animation that makes it all red and crazy. I'm like, yeah, I did it. You know, it's one of those great moments.
I gotta take a picture. Kiefer's telling me how to fix this. You can answer the next question so I can fix my game.
Like you said on Pirates, tends to be more subtle. There's not as much of those huge moments. Let's let Nick take a picture of the setting where he's got to fix his game. There you go.
Okay.
Boom. How good is the shaker implementation? I think it's good.
Yeah.
It doesn't stand out to me as like there's like a huge shaker moment. It's just like
it adds to the whole. Well,
play.
The whole experience is so much because it's not like the shaker is overwhelming. Like, oh, that's a shaker motor going. Like,
yeah.
No, it's like there's an explosion on the screen, so the lights are going crazy. The sound is hitting. The subwoofer is going off. The shaker's, you know what I mean? So it's like the whole experience and presentation is choreographed so nicely that not just one thing kind of distracts you from what's going on. So
Kiefer says there's more shaker to add. So
yeah,
more to come.
Yeah.
Do you think it's too hard to get to all 5 wizard modes in one game? Never saw more than one. So the most I've had so far is 2, and I've had the game. We had the game for what?
I've only a month? Yeah, you've played more than me. I've only done 1, so I think it's very hard to probably get to 5 wizard modes or go through 5 wizard modes because you only get out of it when you complete it, right?
You don't have to complete the modes to get to the wizard mode, and you don't get out of the wizard mode. They're timed. So
the wizard modes are timed, so you could just get out of it without completing it. Okay,
yeah, it could be like I think I saw Tuna do End of the Line on Metallica, and it was like just cash it out as soon as you can, and then move on to the next one.
It's hard, which I'm glad it's hard because if it's easy, that kills last ability. But I feel like there's so much with 5 wizard modes. I was just trying to get to, like I pick Tia Dalma or whatever her name is, and she allows you to pick your chapter rather than like it being randomized, so you can kind of really try to focus to get through the chapters in one of the movies, which will allow you to get to the wizard mode. And even that's not easy. Like I was stumbling, or I get a ball drain, and like now I'm back to square one. So yeah, it's great difficulty level.
Yeah, it's good for a home environment. I could see like after that game I had where I got to 2, I had pretty good progress towards some of the other ones too. So I could see like someday when I have like the perfect game, I could see it happening.
What does it take to get the final wizard mode? Do you have to actually beat all the wizard modes, or at least just get to them?
I don't know.
Kiefer can answer.
It's not in there yet, so
okay, fair enough.
But they can say what they're playing. Let's see. This
is my favorite question. Is there any protection needed from the beginning?
yeah. Here you go.
So here you go. Hi, I'm Nick Lynn. I've got OCD. They did an awesome job with Mylar all over the game. Like, and I look for like areas where I can put stickers on my game and protect it, but I don't like to because I suck at it. But like, so they did a really good job. The only area I think that needs it, and I'm going to put it on. I signed Kevin up to help me. Well, congratulations.
I did it.
The mode chapter select area. So what happens is there's like this little cove up to the right of the chest up top, and when the ball goes in there. It's a small confined area, and Magnet drags the ball and it moves it around. And I can see over time, I mean, in a home environment, you can argue that's never going to happen. But in my OCD world, where I want things to be perfect, I can see over time that it can, start digging away at the clear. You think of games like the Shadow, right? That had
the
Sanctum, and then pulls it back. It's not exactly that, but it's there's close enough parallel to. It's going to be specific movement to a small area, so that's all I'm going to do.
One thing I did was I put the Cliffy switch slot protectors on the in lanes where the ball drops in.
I'll do that too.
And then,
if you're doing that, I'm going to do that too.
And then I know you and I both like to put the protectors around the flipper buttons. Right?
Yeah, I do that to all my games.
Yeah.
So I
think that's it.
But yeah, they did an awesome job with like this game has a lot of mylar around areas that you can suspect might get worn. So it's one of the best games I've seen to offer that protection.
Even the magnet in the back behind under the ship has one on there. So you're good. You're good to go. All right. I've been playing one on location, and one of my concerns would be the upper playfield. It can be very frustrating to get up there and have so little to show for it.
Well, you know what? There's a couple ways to get up to the upper playfield. You can just shoot the right ramp and get up there, or you can get around from the inner orbit, which is the shot to the left of the chest. So, I mean, that should be an easy. They're both. I don't know. They're both very reasonable shots,
and you can plunge to it too.
And you can plunge to it. So yeah, maybe you weren't aware that you can shoot the inner orbit, the yellow shot to the left of the chest to get up there. I think knowing that, you'll have an easier time getting up there rather than trying to hit the ramp.
Hogbox says non-ramp fed right in lane will light the board the pearl magnet. So the right in lane, I'm thinking that through. So if you roll over to the right in lane, it's going to light the magnet that catches it through the orbit.
So left orbit or right? Okay. All right.
So the bottom line is there's a couple different ways to get up to the upper playfield.
Yeah. Oh, he said I got it. So yeah, exactly. I didn't realize that at first because I think it's obvious. People think, oh, you can get the ship, but once you hit that shot and it takes you up there, you're like, okay.
Yeah.
And it is the black pearl shot. I mean, the icon is on the playfield, so it makes sense logically when you look at it.
Mm-hmm. And like we talked about before, it's not a upper playfield. You're going to be up there a long time playing.
No.
You're going to go up there. It's important to know what to do, and I think that's one thing that's not totally obvious on the game, like how you progress that upper playfield to lock the ball.
Yeah, they could. If there's anything that they could do better, I think when you're in the upper playfield, either like a call out to say what to do, or like
tell me to hit the spinner first.
Yeah,
because
yeah.
after that it makes sense because the lights come on.
So we were talking about this on the stream, and Kiefer was watching, and like I don't really get what's happening. He's like, "Oh, the spinner is the sails," and Kiefer's like, "Oh, there's an animation." I finally saw it. It's a really small animation that happens in the lower left corner, like on that side of the screen. So it's easy to miss, but if there's a call out that says, shoot the spinner to raise the sails or something like that, then again, you're incorporating the theme. Then you get, the spinners are the sails, and you're spinning around, it's raising it up. Okay, that's cool. So then it might benefit from that up there, and also it doesn't tell you to like shoot the cannon when you get it in there.
So you had a good point when we were at the Summer Open, and I think you saw Adam Becker playing it.
No, it was so Eric Russell. It was in the top 4 of the Buffalo Pinball Summer Open, and he was playing Pirates, and Pirates was new to most people at that time during the Open, and he was in the upper playfield, and he knew that he had it like that green arrow was flashing where you kind of like load the cannon. He knew he had to get it in there, so he was struggling. He kept on putting it up there. He spent so much time. He finally got it in there, and then he didn't know to hit the fire button. He didn't know why you wanted to put the ball in there, and he didn't know you had to hit the flipper, the action button, because there's no call out or anything. So I can totally understand why he wouldn't do that. And if Eric Russell can't figure that out, plays pinball all the time and is a top player, then I think most casual people won't, and it can be confusing. So I think there needs to be a hit the button to fire the cannon, and something like
ship,
that. Yeah, would be helpful.
Yeah. Pretty sure we got McNally to say hit the spinner, so we'll be adding that eventually. Awesome. So Kiefer says more choreo is needed, so that's there you go. Yeah, that's stuff that all can be fixed down the line.
It's cool what you're doing on the ship, though.
It's amazing.
Like, you're hitting the spinners, raising this, like you're prepping the ship because you're in this battle. Like once you kind of really have to figure that out. So hopefully they can make that more intuitive. But once you realize you're raising the sails and then like loading the cannonball, and then finally you put it in there, like that's so cool. But it's not obvious what exactly is going on up there,
especially
just hitting things.
Because from a stepping up to this game perspective, it's like that upper playfield is it's awesome. I want to see what's going on up there. So you want that to be really rewarding.
But I played it a lot at Expo. I played it at Cleveland. I didn't realize it. So I had played a lot of games before it finally occurred to me. I think it was even only on the stream that Kiefer had to tell me. So they'll probably get to it. Yeah, that's one improvement that they can make.
Yep. When I do sink a ship, it's kind of underwhelming. Yeah, we talked about it. I was hoping for lighting to go crazy. My other concern is lack of video for the chapters. Does music change on the different movie chapters? It absolutely does.
The sink the ship. Yeah, they made the ship. They added the ship animation sinking. I think the other thing they can do with when you sink the like hit the fire the cannon, sink the ship, is it shows the animation, does good lighting. I think if it held the ball for another like 2 seconds to kind of let that sink in, get it. I think it gives the ball back to you so quickly that you sort of didn't realize what cool thing
So
you
you
did.
could sit back and like watch the ship sink and be like, yeah.
Because that doesn't. The cool thing about that is that's not an overly abused feature or toy in the game, right? Like
you're not going to see that all the time.
you're not going to see. You might go many games without sinking a ship. Okay, it doesn't happen a ton, and you're not focusing on always getting up there. And you're not going to sink the ship like 5 times a game. So having it hold it for a second, I think, wouldn't be a bad thing because we always talk about on the podcast and stream is having pinball moments. And I think that's such a cool toy. You've got so much dedicated to it. That could be an even better moment. And it has gotten better from what it originally was.
Yep, absolutely. Different music for each of the 5 movies. There's different music. I think David said there's different music for every chapter you play.
Whoa. So Eric just said there's a unique song for each of the 22 characters and is chosen based on what has been used recently and what characters are what?
So yeah, you're not going to run out of music in this game. In other words,
Dude. Yeah.
So let's say that again. There is a unique song for each of the 22 characters. So the 22 characters you pick at the start. And the music is chosen based on what has been used recently and what characters are present. So there's not just 22 different
During the modes.
songs.
During the modes, yeah.
So
That's awesome. Yeah, that's pretty good. That's
the least recently used characters' music in the chapter.
yeah.
Okay.
See, all right, guys.
Don't worry about repetitive music. You're not going to have
I'm
it
going
in
to
this
quote
game.
Steve Bowden, get your checkbooks out. Let's cut to the chase right
Get
now.
your wallets out.
Get your wallets out. Sorry.
Who
Sorry,
uses a
Steve.
checkbook? Besides
Martha.
Martha. Jinx. Did you install the light at the... So this was for me. Did you install the light on the drain? And if you did, was there a splitter that you used for the mod? So on my most recent stream, you saw that the area right in front of right between the flippers at the bottom was more lit up. And that was a mod that I got from a company called Lure Mods, LERMODS. I had reached out to them because they made a mod for Dialed In that lit up that area. And I don't find that area on Dialed In to be particularly dark, but I think on Pirates it is a little bit more because you got all the spotlights that really kind of flood the playfield with light. So the area by the flippers in contrast seems darker. So it's like, oh, that'd be nice to have on this. So we kind of worked out a deal where he sent me the mod, I sent him some pictures, and then I got to install it on the game, show him how it works, and then they were able to put it up for sale on their website. So if you go to luremods.com, you can grab that right now. They also have a mod that goes around the artwork on the translate, the backglass, that lights up the area around the monitor. It makes it look really cool on this game. It looks like everything's on fire, so it's pretty neat.
It's killing me that I can't go home and play this game immediately.
We can play a game or two before you leave.
I gotta go. It's kind of late.
I guess
it's
I'll
killing
have to
me.
play by myself.
It's killing me.
There you go. So that's how that works. So as far as like hooking it hooks up to a connector in the back box. There's a splitter that they included. It just connects up there, and then you run it under the playfield.
Oh, you know what I wanted to say?
Yeah.
This is my favorite pinball machine to play multiplayer.
Yes.
It's not something I ever thought of before, because all pinball machines, when you're playing with more players, are somewhat the same. This is so much fun. I had so much fun when we played this game on the stream when we did all the bros just playing because of like how you interact with the other players. Like, first of all, choosing your character changes the game for you compared to everybody else.
And it changes it for them because then they can't pick that character.
That's right. Yeah, they get blocked out of that character. But what's awesome is I love plundering. I love plundering. It's hilarious. It's super fun when you're playing a game like, I think Martha plundered one of my balls.
Yeah.
That doesn't sound good. And
you can quote that.
Then but what's funny is I guess it ramps up because she attacked me, right? Then I got plundered. It comes back to her twofold, it becomes more dangerous. So there's more risk when you plunder somebody.
Yeah.
There's plundering your opponent's. You can take their ball. You can take their score.
Gold, treasure.
It's cool getting revenge. We were watching when that wheel goes around and we're plunder and it locks in there and then what's gonna be is a points ball.
Yeah.
And then I got plunder ball, so I took it back from Martha.
Yeah.
We're gonna do a bro show just where we don't have a guest. It's just us playing pirates and a 4-player game. So next time there's a code update, I think we'll do that. I don't know if I can wait that long because I love that. But I want to play more of that. I think it's the best multiplayer game.
Yeah, so on stream I've taken people's score down to 0 on ball 3. I've also taken away their last ball. So I think I did it to Jeff on Monday. He was here, and he was on his last ball, and it gave me plunder opponent's ball, and I was like, oh, I'll take that. So not only do you get an extra ball, it takes the ball away from your opponent, so he's done.
It doesn't take all their. It's like plunder, and then what's the other ring? Like opponent's score, like some of their score, but like a portion of the score.
Yeah, it gives you a percentage of the score.
A percentage of their score.
It's not always all their score.
Yeah.
But sometimes if it's like
you can knock it down,
plunder,
like
30,000 points, and they've only got 15,000 points, you're like, sorry, you got nothing, bro.
It's hilarious. I love that. It's so funny.
Makes for great moments on the stream too.
Totally thematic too. Like that's like the pirate element. Like you're plundering, you're stealing, and stuff, and it's great.
Yep. Yeah. So good times. Plundering's fun. All right, couple emails, and then we'll wrap it up. So Proco asks, how did you approach Pirates of the Caribbean when you didn't know the rules at first? Did you figure everything out for yourself, or did you ask others, or watch some of the JJP streams? So I watched a lot of the JJP streams, but I didn't watch them with the intent of learning the rules. So I just kind of like hung out, enjoyed the animations and the way they were playing the game, but I didn't spend a lot of time focusing on like how the rules work. Because I personally, like I said earlier, I really enjoy the process of learning a game. So especially if I'm going to have it in my house, I don't see a whole lot of reason to dig into, trying to pick apart all the rules before I have it, because I want to experience that for myself. So I waited till I got it home and then really went to town.
Me too. I like to just kind of figure things out for myself. That's part of the process, and kind of just exploring the game and kind of coming up with my own strategy per se. But yeah.
And then from Richard Cornell, he says, how playable is this machine for beginners? I've only been playing pinball for about a year, and I'm not the best. I very much enjoyed the Stern Pirates and hope to enjoy this machine too, because my local arcade is receiving one soon. So what would you say as far as a newer player to pinball, how would they approach this game?
Yeah, well, in terms of being playable, we mentioned this already in the podcast. It's very playable. Like I said, my mom can step up to it, and she might do something cool like get a multi-ball. It doesn't matter that there's so much depth to it. It can be enjoyed on a huge scale, and it can grow with you. You know, as you get better, you're going to just unlock more in the machine and really start appreciating more of it. So very accessible to beginners. It's fairly easy to get multi-balls in the game, which you're going to feel rewarded as a beginning player. So I think they did a really good job with making it accessible and not just for super rule nerds.
Yeah, Hool makes a good point in chat, and something that you and I probably don't use a lot, but the compass in the apron.
Oh yeah,
points to stuff you need to shoot at. So
yeah, exactly. And there's tips in between, like in between, like you drain a ball and they'll throw a tip on the screen. So the game will help teach you what to do at the same time, and you'll pick up tips as you play.
And it's also got the thing on the playfield that's obvious, and that's the chest, right? It's like, oh yeah, how do I make that work? And then you try to shoot it, and you accidentally hit the targets on either side, and then it locks the ball, and you're like, oh, I understand what's happening. Yeah. And then you can see the ball physically locking, and then it's like, oh, that's how at least I can understand how to do that when I step up to this game.
Absolutely.
And then things will happen as you play this game, because if you shoot any of the skull shots, it's going to light your modes. One shot lights your mode, you hit that mode start shot, you're off and running into a mode. So it's very easy to get started, where I think this game really comes together. And the thing that I love in this game that gets me hyped is all the stacking. And we haven't really talked about that, where you can stack together.
You can bring in modes,
multi-balls in any order. If you have a multi-ball going, you can start a mode. If you have a mode going, you can bring a multi-ball. You can stack up to 6 multi-balls together.
Yep.
And what I really like is there's really good grace periods in this. So it's like, oh, I got 4 multi-balls going. I don't want to lose it, but I've got Tortuga lit. And it's like, right when you think you've lost it, you nail the Tortuga shot, and it brings it all back +1 because you got this extra multi-ball, and it's just like, yeah. So I find that really satisfying in this game.
Me too. Alrighty, let's wrap this up.
All right. So you should follow us if you're not following us on the social media channels where we are.
Yeah. Come join our Buffalo Pinball Facebook group. We're growing. We got over 900 members in there.
Push us over 1,000.
Yeah, there you go.
Drive for 1,000.
It's a fun group of people.
We're on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, Twitch, of course. You can support us. Thank you for everybody who's watching live tonight and hanging out. and donating bits and subbing. It's a great way to support the channel if you like. If you have Amazon Prime, you can share that with us at no extra charge. We get a full sub out of that for no extra charge to you. If it gives you 1 sub a month to share with your favorite Twitch streamers, we'd really appreciate you sharing that with us. And of course, we have a Patreon as well.
Yeah, we got a Patreon. If you go to patreon.com/Buffalo Pinball, we got a bunch of new Patreon people from our podcast. I think last month or back in August, they were motivated. So
awesome.
Really appreciate that. Sorry, we have not been able to do the perk of choosing what game we review. We'll get to that soon enough. So thank you guys. It's very meaningful when I see a new sub or I see somebody increasing their donation. It just goes to show that you guys appreciate what we're doing, and it certainly helps us out.
Yeah, absolutely. So with that, we're going to call it a show. Thanks for everybody for watching and listening, and we'll catch you in a month.
Yeah, thank you to Eric for coming on. Thank you for Keith for being in the chat all night, and he's been very supportive of on our streams and guiding us through that, answering questions. So thank you, Keith.
Awesome. Thanks, guys. Take care.